What's up, guys? If you're having pain in your calves when you're running, it could be due to a number of different issues, but one of the more common issues that I see and I've dealt with myself is just general weakness in a couple different muscles in the lower leg that control pronation of the foot as you're going through your running gait. So those two muscles are the posterior tibialis and the flexor digitorum longus. Okay, so those muscles kind of run down the back of the leg and then they attach themselves to the bottom of the foot, and they're responsible for bringing the ankle joint and the foot into plantar flexion and inversion like this. Okay, so they oppose the movement of pronation or eversion of the ankle, which is this movement. So as you're going through your running stride, your foot pronates naturally, right, to disperse some forces that go up into the leg, so it pronates naturally. However, if there's too much pronation, too much eversion of the foot, like this, inwards, then that can kind of cause those muscles to cramp up after a little bit, and then it can be particularly painful, and then you might need to stop your run or reduce your pace and really focus on like stretching those muscles out. So what I'm going to do today is show you a couple different exercises to strengthen those muscles and also how to stretch them effectively after a running workout. So the first thing you're going to do is, if you have a hardwood floor or some sort of floor that slides, even carpet would work too, grab a towel or a little rag, and if you have a weight, like just a small, a pound to 2.5 pound weight, that's all you really need. Put it on the edge of the towel, and what you're going to do is step on the towel with your toes, and basically you're just going to open up your toes and you're going to grasp that towel and try to bring it closer to you with every time you grip it. Okay, so I'm going to open up my toes, start to grip that towel, and bring that weight a little bit closer to me every time. And so it's really going to get those muscles firing and strengthening them up. And you may not even need a plate. So right now I'm seeing the plate isn't really moving all that much, and I'm going to be standing here for a while trying to get it closer to my feet. Okay? So I might need to grab a little bit of a lighter plate or no weight at all, and just do that until you can get the towel close to your feet. Alright, so if you do feel like you're cramping up a little bit in the bottom of your foot, just take a break, alright, and say it's like 30 seconds of time doing that. Well, then that's where you're at that particular point. Rest a little bit, and then knock out 2 more sets for a total of 3. Okay, and then gradually over time, once those muscles get stronger, then you'll be able to increase that time. I'd say like 3 sets of 1 minute, would be enough for maintenance to keep those muscles strong after you get to that point. Okay, so that's exercise number 1. That's particularly for the flexor digitorum longus. Right, that does a little bit more of the flexing of the toes, and also works that supination of the foot in this position. All right, so the stronger that muscle is with that supination and plantar flexion, the more it's going to be able to control that rotation, that eversion, and the pronation of the foot. So that's a little bit more for that muscle. For the posterior tibialis, exercise I really like is grabbing a bench, and I have an ankle weight right here that I'm going to put around my foot. So I'm going to make sure it's secure enough so it doesn't fall off. And I'm going to go to my side right here on the bench. So make sure the bench is long enough so that you can actually prop yourself up and have a good body position in line when you're on that bench. So what you're going to do is you're going to point your toes up towards your shin and then evert them this way. So if this is my big toe right here, I'm pointing up and I'm rotating inwards like this. Okay? That's my starting position. Then from there, I'm pointing away and I'm getting my toe, my foot, rotated up towards the ceiling. Okay? So, and then I go back to the starting position and then back up. So when I go up into the finishing position, I will hold that for about 2 seconds, And then on the way down, I want to control that motion a little bit more. And then I can come up a little bit faster, but with control, and then back down to the starting position. Okay. So a good starting point is 2 to 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps on each leg of that, and then maintain it as that gets easier. So right here I have a 5-pound ankle weight that should be light enough, right, for most people to start off with. But once again, if you're really cramping or if that's difficult for you, then go to a lighter weight and that'll be fine. Progress yourself to 5, 10 pounds, whatever it might be. Okay. So those are your 2 strengthening exercises for those muscles. Now I'm going to show you 1 foam rolling exercise and then 1 stretching exercise. So for the foam rolling, I'm going to sit down behind the foam roller, and typically where you feel the pain is you have 2 calf muscles. So one is the soleus, that's in the lower leg, and then the gastrocnemius, which is up here towards the upper leg. It's got 2 pieces up here. So the pain that you'll usually find if it's these 2 muscles is, it's kind of weird, but it's like in between the gastroc and the soleus, kind of like on the lower portion of that gastroc going down the leg like this, okay? So you want to find that spot that's tender and just gradually put some pressure into it and lift your hips up and slowly, the key is slow. If you're just rolling back and forth like this, it's not really doing much. It's not telling the body to relax very much. So go very, very slowly across it. If you find a really tight spot, I recommend staying on it 30 to 90 seconds until you feel like that burning sensation start to relax, start to release a little bit. And if you can handle extra pressure, bring the other foot up and over like this. Okay, so if you can handle it, it won't take as much time for it to release as if you had less pressure on it. So just hunt around for those tight, kind of angry spots, you know, in that muscle, and very slowly go across it, stay on it, and let it relax a little bit. All right. I would opt for less pressure if you've just finished a run and that calf is really angry at you. Those muscles are really spasmed and tight. So a little bit less pressure, more stretching if in that case. But if it's for maintenance, like before a workout or after, if it's just a little tight, then go ahead and get some deeper pressure in there. So that is your foam rolling. And then the stretching exercise, what you're going to do, I would typically hold on to something, but I don't have anything at this point. So you're going to be stretching the back leg. Okay, so I'm going to set up in this position with toes pointed forward. I'm going to bend the front knee, then bend the back knee. Once I bend the back knee, I should already feel a pretty decent stretch in that soleus, the lower calf. Now, in order to hit that posterior tib and the flexor digitorum longus, I'm going to very slowly push my knee inwards like this, right? So I'm trying to get that foot into pronation, into eversion, so that I can stretch out those muscles down there, because those are the muscles that oppose that movement. So I'm already feeling a pretty good stretch in those muscles right there. I'm going to hold and relax there for at least a minute. Right? You may find that maybe 30 seconds is enough, but I usually like a minute. It's a good middle ground, a minute to a minute and a half per side, especially after a run where you're really, really tight and stiff. You want to focus a little bit more time on that. Okay, so after I get a minute and a half or so on one leg, go ahead and switch to the other. Get 1 to 2 sets of that, okay, going back and forth to really stretch that muscle up. All right, so those are exercises I've found to be pretty effective and in strengthening those muscles and also loosening them up. And if you do this consistently over time, right, you should find that you're not really cramping up in those muscles like you used to during those runs. And as always, once the pain goes away, don't stop doing this stuff. Just back it off a little bit. Maybe you don't need as much per week or as many sets before you go out onto your run for the strength training exercises. So with the strength training exercises, at first I would opt for 3 days a week, all right, doing at least 2, ideally 3 sets, all right, of that 12 to 15. And then once you get better at it, once you get stronger, back it off to 2 days for maintenance. And then the stretching and foam rolling, I would do that stuff every day. So that's it. So I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and like this video and look for more like it later.